Hi! Do you remember how excited I was to get my green stalks? And I was like, oh! Well, I am still in love with them. I still love them to bits. I wish I could get the blue ones to go with my green ones, the evergreen ones. But let me show you how they're doing. This green stalk is in my front garden. It's a south-facing garden. And it is doing absolutely fantastic. It's got, I think this is cauliflower in there. We've got garden peas. I've put some potatoes in there. I've just put some lettuce in. We have some cucumber in there and we'll be harvesting those soon. The strawberries have not done as well and therefore they're coming out. This is a red tumbling tomato and that's doing absolutely fantastic in there. Oh, let me take the peas this way around because they don't like it the other way around. We've got some beans in there and they're doing fine. None of the strawberries are happy, so they'll be coming out as I said. Geraniums at a level of prettiness which actually just makes me smile every time I see it. But probably if I was to put them in again, I'll put them in the bottom rather than in the top pots. So probably what I would do is I would actually move the layers down and change them around. But for now, I'll leave it. Down here, this is a kale, or it's either a kale or broccoli. And that's doing absolutely fine as well. Yeah. Yes, and I put potatoes in here as I said, so we'll have to wait and see whether or not the potatoes will do okay. So this is my front south-facing garden green stalk, which I love to bits, and every time I come out I have to look at it and smile. I love the base, which is the one that turns around on its own, better than the wheels. So if you're considering getting it, I would say get the base that turns around rather than the wheels, because they work so much better and you do not need the wheels. Watering it, I got myself one of these, which is like a wine stopper because someone suggested it. And if I'm going to feed, I'll put it in, fill this with water, add my feed, and then let it out so that every plant gets a bit of feed. This is my north-facing garden. It's northeast facing, and this green stalk is full of greens. So this is cauliflower, and because we have got some cabbage whites around, I have to keep checking the back of the leaves to make sure that we haven't got any. This is one of my kales, Chinese kale, which seems to be thriving in there. These are all cauliflowers in there, which I just put in for the sake of putting them in. I put a tumbling tomato which broke off the ones in the front garden in here. This is another cauliflower and that's also doing really well. I have got some marigolds in here because I mixed the two. I've got two green stalks. One is the leaf and the other one is the original. So the original has deeper pockets and therefore I decided to put one of my tomato plants in there to see whether or not it will do well. We have, what is it? More cauliflower or cabbage in there. It might be cabbage actually, that. The kale, once again, is flowering. Kale is such a finicky little plant. It has not been happy in any of my beds and I cannot work out why. Maybe it's a season, but this Swiss chard is doing absolutely fantastic in here, although we've now got leaf miner because I didn't harvest it. I was just enjoying the sight of it. And then as you can see all the way down the bottom, it's all just cabbages. So, and then more kale, which looks like it wants to flower. So the back garden green stalk is not doing as well because I've got plants that are not working in it, but I'm learning how to use it and I know that will get better with time. So I think the weather is too hot for the kale, Chinese kale, so I'll have to reseed and see whether or not they'll grow better when the weather is cooler. But I still love this one as well, and it's got its own self it's got its own coke, which I use when I'm feeding it. They do actually retain a lot of water because I made sure that I used potting compost to fill them. So I think that's helping them to thrive much better. So when the weather is a bit cool, I'm going to put in things like pak choi, which at the moment doesn't seem to last 5 seconds before it actually starts flowering. And I'll put in mini lettuce in there as well and see whether or not it will work well. What I find fascinating is I have a fly trap in the back garden, and I found a slug in there. This fly trap, I don't know where the slug has gone now, whether it's managed to come out, because I don't think it can come out again once it's in, so it's probably drowned. But I had put it up here and I found a massive, huge slug inside of it. And I'm like, how did it get up there and ignore all these leaves and not eat them? But it is what it is. I have some lettuce in here which was being eaten by slugs. Now, slugs don't normally eat lettuce, and yet this was being demolished where it was sat. So I've moved it into here. But my hope is that in the future, I'll be able to get another 2 green stalks so that I'll have 3 in the back garden. And I want blue ones so that I can have the contrast of green and blue. Oh, look. Sorry, I'm being sidetracked. I don't even remember what tomato this is. But, oh no, it's been eaten. Huh? Look at that. No wonder the pigeons have been coming here. It looks like a tigerella. But it's been eaten. Ah. Well, what do you do? These birds will be birds, and they seem to know where the food is and they need to eat. But my back tomato garden is doing lovely. My banana legs are starting to ripen, so they'll be coming off the plant soon so that they can ripen the rest of the way in the house where they won't be eaten. I seem to have a lot of pigeons this year, all because of this cherry tree, and they stole all my cherries. I just thought something was walking on my leg. They stole all my cherries this year, but next year I'll be netting the cherry tree and I'll nip it off so that I don't have any branches that go too far up. Or I might leave them the top branch and then net the bottom branches. So I get the bottom branches, they get the top branches. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. We're talking about my greenstalk. And the greenstalk is doing fine. It's got a few plants that are doing fantastic, some that are not doing so fantastic, but ultimately I'm loving the fact that I can change out anything that doesn't work and restart very easily without having to disturb all the soil other than from one pocket.